What's going on, flock? It's Joe Noobo, and today we're going to be previewing the upcoming Monday Night Football matchup between the Baltimore Ravens and the Kansas City Chiefs. That's right, guys. It is finally here. It's the game that everybody's been talking about. All Ravens fans, all Chiefs fans, we circled this on our calendar. You can't lie to me. I know you did, because we've been looking forward to this game. And there is a lot to get into. And of course, I had to bring on my guy to be able to discuss this Chiefs-Ravens matchup. So I'm going to be bringing on Ryan Tracy. I want everybody to give my guy a warm welcome. He is from RGR Football. He is also from the Locked On Chiefs podcasting network. Make sure you guys check him out there. And also make sure you check out Rogue Analytics. Guys, please give a very warm welcome to Ryan Tracy. What's going on, Ryan?
Hey, Joe, how are you? And to the rest of the Ravens flock.
We're good, man. We're excited for this game, as I'm sure that you're feeling as well. So, Ryan, I want to get your overall thoughts. I know that you're an analytics guy first. You know, you try to put your fandom aside. But we're going to get your fandom out today, man, because this is Ravens Chiefs. I know you're hyped for that. So, what's your overall opinion on this game? You know, the past two times that Lamar and Patrick Mahomes have gone, head-to-head here, it's gone in Patrick Mahomes' favor. And but this time, Patrick Mahomes is coming to Lamar's town. He's coming to Baltimore. Obviously, it sucks that there's not going to be the fans in the stands. You know, I was hoping that we could get a chance to have that extra advantage, that home field advantage, the fans there, just to really help out the defense. But so, how are you feeling about this game? Do you think that you guys still have the edge as you've had over the past two seasons, or do you think this one might be a little bit different?
I'm feeling clinched is probably a good way to put it.
Okay.
I don't think that the advantage is near what it was, to tell you the truth. I think it is just a slight edge, and honestly, I think a lot of it has to do with fans not being in the stands. If it was the full bore, all the noise that they can make, I think that puts Mahomes at a disadvantage. It's something that he deals with, but it's definitely a tick. Offensive line didn't play that great last week, so throwing them off in any way is probably a bonus for anything that John Harbaugh and the boys want to do. But I see this as a really, really tight game, to tell you the truth.
Yeah. I agree. I think that it's going to come down to the wire. Last time we faced off, I believe it was in week 3 as well last season. Mm-hmm. And, for most of the game, the Chiefs were just, whooping our ass, man, taking us up and down the field, no problem. There was like a small, minuscule chance at the end that I thought, hey, maybe there's a chance, we're only down one score. I don't know. Maybe we can drive, but, we just didn't make it happen. So, but yeah, I could totally see this game being super close. And I think maybe like the uneducated fan, which a lot of people say I am, but I mean, whatever, you can say what you want. But the uneducated fan would make the argument, well, the Chiefs struggled against the Chargers. They had to go into overtime against Justin Herbert. And the argument I made is that, you got to think that these guys prepared for Tyrod Taylor, right? They didn't prepare for Justin Herbert. So that's the way that I saw it. I'm totally not overlooking these Chiefs. They're still the Chiefs to me. So I'm still about as concerned about facing these Chiefs, even though they maybe didn't have the hottest game last week. Yeah,
that's for sure. I mean, they just, quite honestly, I think the Ravens are the reason they didn't have a very hot game. In my mind,
they might have been looking ahead. Yeah.
I do think so. I mean, honestly, is there a better matchup? I've said this on all of my shows. This is the game of the first half of the season, easily the top billed game. Mm-hmm. And to tell you the truth, nothing against what the Chargers did, but they only put up, 20 points, 22 points. Right. It's not like the higher scoring games that the Ravens had the last few years. And quite frankly, what I saw last week from Lamar standing in the pocket and delivering the ball makes me more nervous than I've been for this last one. I just hope it doesn't come down to another no-look throw to save this game for Kansas City.
Oh, God. Yeah, we know what Mahomes can do, man, in the clutch. We've seen it multiple times. So why don't we get into these numbers, man? Let's start off with this Kansas City Chiefs offense. So some of these stats, I know it's only been 2 weeks. Now, a lot of people don't like when I talk about the numbers because a lot of people say, well, the numbers don't tell the whole story. I actually disagree. I think they do tell a story. I just don't think you have all the chapters. So that's why we have you here to tell us all those chapters about these stories that these numbers are telling us. This Chiefs offense is ranked 13th in terms of yards per game, as they have averaged 391.5. They are tied for 7th in terms of points per game, as they have averaged 28.5. And they are 18th in passing, averaging 246 yards per game, and they are 8th in rushing, as they have averaged 145.5 yards per game. Let me give you a little bit of a theory, Ryan, that I've made up about this Chiefs offense, and you can tell me if I'm completely off base here. But from what I've seen, it's been happening this season, and I would even argue going back to the playoffs, the Chiefs, to me, look like slow starters on offense. Sometimes they'll pick it up in the second quarter, and that's when you'll see the explosion happen against a lot of teams. But sometimes you'll see a game like the Chargers where they really don't get going until the fourth quarter. So would you agree with me on that, or do you think I'm totally off base here?
Oh, yeah, you're absolutely right. And it's something that's been bothering Chiefs Kingdom, if I could talk right. I try not to talk for the Kingdom because – I am one that takes a little bit farther back view than Chiefs Kingdom does, and you're right. That definitely is the issue, and that was what was so disconcerting, that generally it's going to be a feeling out process. They do a lot of scripted plays early to kind of hunt and peck against the defense, see what they can get, and then they look to put it together in the second quarter. Andy used to run 15-play script off the bat to really exploit what he wanted to do, and now he's a little more exploratory at first. And so what we saw last year, especially, was the second quarter was the big explosion. When that didn't come last week because the Chargers defensive front was in his lap all day, that became a problem. Unfortunately for them, you can't really just shut that guy out forever because as you've seen, and he even said this, I think, last year, he made some scramble. I think he got in. Then he literally went back to the bench and asked the guys, "Hey, did I look like Lamar?"
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah,
he knows he's not, but he's using his legs effectively. And if they're going to play deep coverage, if they're going to play, the threes, the cover 4 and the 6 back there, and try to take away Tyreek and try to take away McCole Hardman, he will tuck it and run enough to get yardage for a new set of downs.
Yeah, and that's a lot that I've seen, especially out of Mahomes. Like even in the Chargers game in the fourth quarter, Mahomes started to use his legs a lot more, and he's definitely not the same type of runner that Lamar is. He doesn't have the elusiveness, the speed, the athletic ability, but he can still run now, and he can get those first downs. I mean, he ran for like 21 yards, I believe, on a third down and like 20 or something like that. Yeah. So it's not like he doesn't have that ability to take off. So yeah, that's definitely an aspect. This offense is, I mean, it's the Chiefs offense. Everybody knows, the reputation has its precedent already that it's pick your poison. You can't stop them all because, you stop one leak over here, then the other leak is coming out like, oh God, it's just damn near impossible. So yeah, I'm not expecting for the defense to at all stop the Chiefs offense. I'm just hoping that they can keep them down long enough, and hopefully that since they have been slow starters, that will give us a chance to put enough points on the board in order for the Chiefs not to come back. Because if we were in the position that the Texans were in, for example, that they were up 24-0, I definitely don't see our defense allowing almost 51 almost unanswered points, right? So, that's kind of the advantage I would see. If the Ravens can come out hot, maybe there's a good chance we can end up with the win.
Yeah, I mean, and much like the Chargers did, your front is going to be formidable. And quite frankly, it's going to exploit the weakness on offense. The only one there really is at the guard position. And so my question, what I really want to find out is where's Campbell going to line up? Is he going to go on the right side and try to exploit Wiley, who's a little bit more athletic but doesn't have the anchor that Assembly has? Or is it going to be a little bit of a grudge? How much are they going to move Judon around? How do you say that guy's name right?
Yeah, just Judon. Matt Judon. All right. Yeah.
So, where is he? Because he got the best of Mitch Schwartz last time. He got some on Fisher. So he's definitely a guy that I've got my eye on about where he's lining up, not just exactly who he's going to face.
Yeah, Campbell, I mean, just his mere presence alone, I think, has been an absolute force for opposing quarterbacks, especially when we had to face Baker Mayfield. You saw it on the very first snap. He's like, oh, my God, I have this 7-foot guy right in my face. I can't even complete a pass. So, yeah, that could be something to look out for. So let's move on to this Ravens defense now that we're already talking about it. So far, they are ranked second. They are tied for second as they have allowed an average of 305 yards per game. And they are first in terms of points per game, allowing an average of 11. So sixth in passing defense, allowing an average of 210.5 yards per game. Seventh in rushing, allowing an average of 89.5 yards per game. So pretty good rankings there statistically wise. The matchup I'm most looking forward to is these Chiefs receivers versus my cornerbacks, right? Because I believe very highly of both Marlon Humphrey and Marcus Peters. I think that they are the best cornerback duo in the league. Causing turnovers, Marcus Peters, jumps the ball at the right time. You saw him do it against Deshaun Watson, making plays. Marlon Humphrey, he had that interception in week 1, punched the ball out against Kiki Kuti in week 2. So that's what I'm really interested to see. So what are you expecting out of that matchup?
It's funny because obviously this team knows Marcus pretty well.
Yeah, true.
And the last time they played, it didn't quite go as big as it did the first time. He got a pick off of Patrick early when he was still with the Rams. So, there's a history there. I expect them to try to get Marcus to do what Marcus does and jump something he shouldn't.
Sure.
So I do expect a chess match over there. I think, and I agree with you about Humphrey as well. The thing that I'm concerned about is I saw Young went to IR.
Yeah.
And that's McCole Hardman's spot where I think he can make some hay down the middle. And I was huge on Patrick Queen coming out. Mm-hmm. I actually like Ken Murray just a touch more because I want a linebacker that can really attack the run a little bit better.
Mm-hmm.
But is he going to match up on Kelsey? If that's the case, I feel like that's an advantage for these Chiefs as well. So it might be yardage down the middle, to tell you the truth.
Yeah, I could definitely see that. And we also have some question marks at the safety position a little bit. I mean, the guy that we've had replace Earl Thomas, Deshaun Elliott, a.k.a. the Joker from Texas, he's been playing well. He has impressed me quite a bit. You haven't seen any just lapses in coverage, that deep passes come out of nowhere. No, he's been solid. But yeah, I definitely can picture a game plan where Andy Reid is like, you know what, we're going to test these young guys. We're going to test Patrick Queen. We're going to test Malik Harrison, Deshaun Elliott. Let's see if they are actually about that life. Let's see if they can actually make it happen. But yeah, I'm terrified of Travis Kelce. That's going to be a problem. And Tavon Young is obviously a huge loss. Without him, we're kind of relying on our fifth corner, Anthony Averett. And I have my opinions about him as he had to play against your Chiefs last year as well. And he was getting absolutely toasted all day. So I'm hoping he can step up this season, this game, because we need him to, quite simply. So
I was hoping you were going to say his name.
Yeah. So, yeah, we're definitely going to see how it turns out there. But all right. So now that we're transitioning into the offensive side, we'll talk about the Ravens offense. We already talked about the Chiefs offense. Sorry. So Ravens ranked 12th, averaging 394 yards per game. They are also third in points per game, averaging 35.5, 28th in passing with 223.5 yards per game, and fourth in rushing, 170.5 yards per game. Leading passer is, of course, the 2019 unanimous league MVP, Lamar Action Jackson, the Llama. 38 out of 49, 479 yards, 4 touchdowns, 0 picks. And I got to say, man, I know I'm going off on a tangent, but Lamar Jackson has been looking really good. I know a lot of people still want to see him pass more, which I get, I understand, but the passes that he makes, man, they're on point, they're accurate. It's been just, I feel like he's playing so much better than he was from a passing perspective than he has in his first 2 seasons in the league. So love to see that.
You got to explain to me what the llama thing is, though, because I don't know.
He's the llama, man. He's not the goat yet. He's still the llama.
Okay.
You know what I mean? All right. So leading rusher, actually also Lamar Jackson. So, the one-man show over here, 23 carries, 99 yards, 0 touchdowns. And that's a little bit of a surprise to me, but we've kind of been using the running back by committee because last year Mark Ingram was like the guy. He was the workhorse for this offense. But now it's been more of J.K. Dobbins, the rookie. You're seeing him come in every now and again. Gus Edwards got the most carries this past game against the Texans because I love Gus, man. He is so underrated, I feel like. And even with the Ravens coaching staff, I feel like they don't use Gus enough. I hope that we get to use him this game because from what I've seen, the Chiefs' run defense isn't too spectacular. So,
I got to tell you, I'm a little pissed off.
Okay.
Because I need to sit down with the folks in Baltimore's front office because they keep taking the guys that I want to see in Kansas City.
Yeah.
Queen, Marquise. I mean, these guys, Dobbins was my guy.
Oh,
so
no.
I'm mad to see the fact that he's going to have an opportunity to run over the interior of the Chiefs off the defense, excuse me. Although they are getting a little bit of help back. I am very cognizant of what that running back group can do, and I'm really interested to see what Dobbins does. Let me ask you this. Do you think that there is a possibility that they haven't done as much because they're holding back for this game and now they're going to just ramrod everything?
You know what? I actually had a thought today. I'm like, what if these guys are trying to just hold back and not really show everything? They're trying to because they know this game is coming up. So what the plan had to be, we're not going to show everything on tape. You know, these guys are going to be studying every single play that we do. So, yeah, I could totally see a scenario that's what they exactly were doing. I totally agree with you.
I tell you, that's exactly what Andy Reid's doing, and it got me thinking, where did John Harbaugh learn his tricks? At least some of them, you know? So I could definitely see that.
So let's move on to this Chiefs defense. 27th in terms of yards per game, allowing an average of 419.5, but they are 6th in terms of points per game given up, only 20 per game, 20 each game. So it seems a little bit like a bend, don't break almost is what it looks like to me. 22nd in passing, 269 yards per game, and 26th in rushing, 150.5 yards per game. So it looks like this defense gives up a lot of yardage, but they're just not really always, breaking. It's a bend, don't break, right?
That's the way that it's working out. That's not the philosophy.
Yeah.
They do not want to be bend, don't break. It's more like they're shooting themselves on the foot and then getting back on the horse. But the problem isn't systemic. It is 241 snaps by rookies this last week. That's part of the issue. This is not what Steve Spagnuolo wants. It's what he's getting through right now, having one starter and one guy that is like first off the bench suspended for these first 2 weeks. Having rookies having to start in their places and play significant snaps all around the field. It's still pretty raw out there for this Chiefs roster.
Yeah. So would you say that explains the little bit of the tackling issue that they have as well?
I wish it did. I wish that was it, because one of the biggest culprits is Dan Sorensen, who is a 7-year vet and should know better, and should have that down. Dan's having a little bit of trouble. I think, quite frankly, there's a couple of vets on this roster that have missed training camp, to tell you the truth. That they're just a little bit rusty. They're a little bit slow to come around. Like, it's like getting out of the bed in the morning. You got to stretch and stuff. These guys need to stretch, and they haven't finished it yet. But I think that, again, the team has probably been looking forward to this matchup this whole time too. So I'm hoping they put their best foot forward.
Yeah, no, I'm totally expecting this Chiefs team to just come out on fire. They're not going to lay down for the Ravens whatsoever. All right, well, Ryan, thank you so much for joining me today, man. This was great for the preview for this week's game coming up. I cannot wait. I know it's going to be good. I know everybody's going to be watching this game. You have to. So Ryan, let the people know where they can find you, man, your channel, your social media, all that.
Absolutely. I'm over at RGR Football on YouTube. That's the name of the channel. You can find me at Ryan Tracy NFL on Twitter, and that's got everything else, the pods and all that kind of stuff. So appreciate you having me on. This was good talk.
Yep, absolutely. All right, fellas, we're going to go ahead and get out of here. Thank you so much for watching. Please hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Hit that like, share this with your friends. Social media is down in the description below. Also, please support the Fan-to-Fan network that we are both a part of. Make sure you guys are supporting that. So thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.